Yeah, so my name is Natalie Willock, as Annabelle mentioned, and I'm part of the Knowledge and Community Engagement team. So here also Mark Ireland, Ryan Craig, and now Liz Sanderson are all part of the team. And everyone seems to be enjoying the FME community over the last few days. So I'd like to talk a little about the other ways that you can stay connected and learning, contributing, as well as gaining from our wonderful community that we have. The team also assists with training and certifications, which many of you have. And so we're going to look at the Knowledge Center today to start, as well as some of the other ways to contribute and stay connected. So let's start by moving to the FME community.
I was talking to someone who had this great idea. They wanted to put a picture into a workspace. It was a really cool idea, I thought. It was the gang from Here and Maps.
Okay. I can handle that. I can, Ken. We're going to look at the ideas section of the Knowledge Center. Okay? So that's the place where if you have a wonderful idea or enhancement, we have this ideas section, and there it's possible to add a new idea. So you can use the new idea button. And when you do that, you can fill in like the title for your new idea, as well as a little bit more information about it, attaching images, if there's any images which might help describe the idea to the other members of the FME user community, or upload a file if that's useful as well. And you can choose what space you'd like to put your idea in, so whether it's a desktop idea. So for Ken's idea for inserting an image into the workspace, that would fit in the desktop category. We also have spaces for the server and the cloud. And then you can tag it with topics. So for one about inserting images, I might want to tag it with Workbench, and maybe something else about adding the images in. And also when you start typing the title of your idea, you can check to see whether another idea has been already submitted, which sounds pretty similar. So if you think that either through when you add a new idea, or if you go to the ideas section and either you can browse through the ideas or search them, you could check to see whether there's already an existing idea. So say there's already an existing idea, you may be interested in this one here. So it's about improving the attribute manager. It's possible to vote on this idea. So if you also think this would be a great improvement, then we'll use the votes to help drive product development. And if there's something specific, you can also add comments to the idea and then reply in that way as well to add to the discussion and help refine the idea and what it would look like in the ideal way for you as a user of the product. In the ideas section, what's also cool that you can check out is that you can see that it's possible to sort the idea by votes. And what's neat about the vote section is we can see that for many of the ideas with the highest number of votes, they have been added to the product and they now have the release state. So there's a number of states for the idea, so suggested, so that's what happens when you initially suggest an idea, it goes into the suggested state. If it's being implemented in the beta version of the product, there's a state for that, as well as completed, which would be corresponding to the release state so that it's in the product. And if you're able to suggest an idea that gets into the product in the release state, we have a special custom badge for you. So I'll take you over to the badges section, and there's a number of badges available also if you get a number of votes on your idea. And then we have this custom badge for the inventor here. So this would be a badge that you'd be able to get if you suggest an idea which progresses to the release state. So it's also recognizing those great ideas and adding to your reputation and points. Okay, so I think we covered the ideas, and now let's move to an overview of the Knowledge Center.
Natalie, does FME handle multi-geometries in AIXM?
That's a really good question, and I know a little bit about AXM as I did help to work with some AXM to inspire, and someone here may also know the answer to that question. However, you can reach a much wider audience and get much more discussion responses if you use our handy question and answer forum. So this is a great place because you can ask your AXM question. You can even search. So let's see if I put in AXM multi-geometry in the search bar. So it looks like that might be a question that hasn't yet been asked. So you can again go to the new question button and add a title for your question, and then as well as a body. So for the question and answer forum, it might be especially useful to include information such as some sample data if you have some you can share, or a workspace that might aid other users in assisting you come up with a solution to the question you have. And again, you can choose what space, whether it's desktop, server, or cloud, and enter some topics. So this one would be a great one where you could put AXM, and then what would be useful about tagging it with AXM is then if someone who knows a lot about AXM comes to the Q&A forum and they really want to share their knowledge with other FME users, on the sidebar here, it's possible to enter the topic. So here I could enter AXM, and then I would see, if I hit filter, all of the questions which have been asked that have the AXM tag. So that would help someone with AXM knowledge be able to give back to those users and spread their expertise. We can see here that, yeah, I think we need more AXM users to become active in the community. What's also great about the question and answer area, so say if you've asked a question, so let's look about MongoDB. So here we can see that someone's asked a question. It's possible to add a comment. So say if you're not exactly sure, you want to get a bit more details about the question, you can add a comment. Or if you know the answer, then you can add a reply at the bottom of it. And it's useful when you're adding a reply to tag the user who asked the question, and that way you can do the @ and then their username. So in this case, let's see, who is the asker? So this is, so if after the @ if I start writing SEB, shortly I should get the drop down for the username. What was next? Oops. Okay, SB Kingsley. So if I go down here, for some reason it's not coming up. So let's try this again. Here we go. Try again, because now we can see it's working. Yeah, sometimes I have to start typing it and then you go back. So yeah, it can work. I know it can be a little bit finicky, though it's useful if you try again if it doesn't work the first time. Yeah, and then you can see here, you can select the user, and then that would give them more of a direct response that they've had a reply to their question. If you've asked a question as well, so I'm going to go over here to, where'd it go there? So if you've asked a question and you have received an answer and that has really helped you out, it's quite useful to select the, so this is the message board one, so select the best answer. So here, let's go here. So there's two answers in this question. If one was, they're also by the same person. But yes, if one of the answers is able to really get you started and you think it would be useful to mark that as the best answer, you can accept it, and then it will become the accepted answer. So this will both help your reputation by accepting it, because you're recognizing that this was the most useful answer, as well as it will recognize the expertise of the answerer. So it's mutually beneficial for both of you. And then also, if any other users come in with the same question, they can look at the question and the answers, and they can get started with that best answer, because that would be a good starting place in cases where there might be multiple approaches or different types of ways of handling that situation.
In this case, it's Hans. Hans should stand up.
And getting back on that, so when you contribute and do that type of activities, we looked at the badges page, and there's also a chance to have reputation points, and then for recognizing those with high reputation points over the last 90 days, the last 3 months, we have a leaderboard on both the Q&A forum as well as the ideas page. So this recognizes the users who are contributing the useful content regularly in both the Q&A forum as well as the ideas section. So if you want to strive to achieve that, come talk to one of us, and we can give you some pointers, answering questions, accepting answers, voting, all the ways to participate in engaging with the questions and ideas are great ways to increase your reputation points. So let's move now to this other section. We do indeed. So that would be another great place to look for your AXM content. So if you go to the knowledge base section, you can see that there's a landing page. So this is a great place to start if you're interested in a particular product. So we have this landing page where it splits up based on desktop, server, and cloud, as well as specific data transformations and data formats. From this page, you can also access groupings of articles as FME tutorials. So there's a number of formats and transformations which are now covered in this section. As well, there's a link to the training. So we do offer regular online training, and for VARs who offer the training live online, it is also accessible through this page, or there's in-person training as well, which you can view through here, and the recorded training section. So if a customer or if you're not able to access the training during the times it's listed for online or in person, you can also view previously recorded versions of it there. So if you want to just browse all of our articles, at the top of the landing page, you can go to all articles, and then through there, you could search them, browse them, enter the topic. So I could go to AXM, see if I get more success through articles. And there's only a couple. So Dean is a good person to talk to about AXM for sure. And then you could also search it through the search bar above there. So for some of the articles too, we're trying to have videos attached to them to improve the numbers of ways which people can learn the content. And most articles have a template and some sample data so people can get started learning about working with a format or what transformers would be useful to use in certain translation and transformation modes. So let's now go to move over
Natalie,
to
during my last project, I created a new custom transformer for extracting some routing informations. And how could I share it? Because I know there are some other users facing the same
I was definitely
problem.
just about to talk about that,
Oh.
our other great site, the FME Hub. So we're still working on integrating these a little bit more closely. However, you can, from the Knowledge Center, go on the start page. There is a link to the FME Hub, and it's possible to set up. So your same user profile or your same on the Knowledge Center, you can also use to log into the FME Hub. And this is a great place. So today, when we heard from John Blinky, this was a great place about many custom transformers, a place to share custom transformers, as well as formats, templates, and web connections. So because I've signed in with my Google account on the Knowledge Center, if you don't already have a profile on the Knowledge Center, you can sign up with your Google account or your LinkedIn and then use the same one as well on the FME Hub. So that's useful and an easy way to get started using those. We can browse for content here. So if I'm interested in one by, let's see, which one was it? I think it's, so we go here. forget the username. I think there's the word one. I'll look for the word one because he's talking about today. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yes. So here we can see that if I search, we can see who it's created by, how many times it's being downloaded, and the categories it's being tagged with. It's also possible to add an image. So here we can see that there's an image to the EAA logo. And there's some description about the custom transformer, when it might be useful to use it, as well as the edit history. So if it might have more than one version. For example, here you can see that there's a current version is the 3rd version, and you can also use other versions depending on what version of FME that you're working with at the moment. And it's always possible to add comments to the transformer there. So if you want to add to the FME Hub, if you go to Upload Item, it's possible to add either through the file browser or through dragging and dropping a transformer, template, web connection, or format. And then you can choose the visibility. So say you're still maybe working on this transformer, you could initially set it to private, then only you could see it. Or if it's ready to be shared with all the wonderful FME users, you can set it to public. And then you can add the image to it as well as a test workspace. So we improve the quality control of dealing with the custom transformers, etc., by being able to add a test workspace. So if I'll go to a quick video about adding the editing a custom transformer. And with editing the custom transformer, you can also change the logo and workspace as you do so. Okay, so let's go here. And we'll go to the video of it about editing. All right. All right, so we got this fancy video, but first I have to get the flash going. Okay, great. So the Microsoft Cognitive Services is an existing item in the FME store. You can see here that it does give me a prompt of a likely match for my search. So it's this template which Ken has created, and say Ken wanted to edit the logo of this custom template, or if he wants, you can go to edit the item and then choose a new icon for it, as well as change the template and add the test suite workspace or template to ensure that everything is working out well, and then run it to make sure it passes the test. So it's great to go, so then we can go to make our changes available and publish them, the updates to the FME Hub. Okay, so now let's move to something else about the FME Hub.
Natalie, I noticed there's actually a lot of Twitter users here that are really excited about sharing things on Twitter. Is there any kind of Twitter FME?
Definitely. Well, I think hopefully some people already will know about some of the Twitter tags they could use today because they were mentioned pretty much every day of the conference I think we've had so far. So if we go to Twitter, the great handle to try is, this is looking different than I want to, FME UC. So let me go, there we go. So if I'm interested in the tags for the FME UC, we can see here some of the most recent content talking about how there was the soccer game on Tuesday evening, the home license updates. So this is a great way for you to be connected to the FME community through social media. So here's a picture of Don and Dale with Chris Hatfield. And then it's also good to try the FME
Natalie?
Yes,
Can I
yeah.
ask a question? I'm for the first time here on the user conference.
Uh-huh.
And it's really fun to be here, but how can we stay more in touch?
That's a great question. Before I answer that question, I'm just going to show you one more Twitter account, the FME Evangelist. And this is great too if you want to try to get a bit of support for your related FME issues on Twitter. You can try posting it here and get some support through that. So more events. Well, this conference is, it's awesome. It's great to put on. We also have the yearly World Tour events throughout North America and Europe, etc., who are put on by our partners. And now there's more and more user communities. You can start up an FME user community in your area or find to see if one already exists. And so that would be a way that you could meet up with other FME users more regularly. And then a number of partners also put on other events, such as there's been the FME Days. So that's a great way to stay connected as well. We have LinkedIn, we have Facebook. So depending on what your ideal way you like to stay connected is, there's many options available. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you. So does anyone have any questions that I wasn't able to cover so far or someone else wasn't able to ask?
Post them.
We're all good for the moment? Sorry, notifications? Yes. So that's a great question, Rob. So in your profile, so if I'll go to my profile here, and there we go. So if I go to my profile, I can also set up, if there's some number of topics which I'm interested in, I can follow those topics. Or I can set up different...
Gotta boost your reputation.
It's getting low. So
No, it's the number.
yeah, I know. So if I can set my email notifications to get me more notifications about when activity happens on the site. I will also go back to the other user here. So let's go here. Why is it not? There we go. Let's see it. There we go. Okay. So if we go here, you can see if we go to this, the FME Lizard, we can see that for the, you can set up notifications for regular notification with like every time an answer, question, or comment is posted. However, that would be maybe a little bit too much information you want to be always notified about. So you can, if you have answered or posted a question, you could follow that particular question. So if I go to this question here, I can see that I can start to follow it. So then I'd receive notifications if I'm particularly interested in either answering it or getting answers to it. And then the same goes for ideas. You can follow an idea you're particularly interested in. Or if I go to the topics, if I really want to stay up to date about anything that is posted with a particular topic, I could select it and then follow that topic. So if anytime someone posts about Esri, I would be notified about the activity in that area. So that's great if you have certain topics of interest or questions you want to stay more on top of. It helps you remain connected to those areas. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Can I just make a comment? I noticed that from the Knowledge Center, many times people reply to questions asked, and at the end, those users who do not comment or
Mm.
accept the answer, it
Mhm.
would be great if there was a way, perhaps, I mean, firstly, to ask the people who ask the questions to make sure that they have solved the problem or not. Okay? Or perhaps if there's a way to allow, after a certain number of days, if there's no replies, for somebody else to accept the answer.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's where it's also about a lot about being encouraging people to be engaged in a way where they will accept an answer, because sometimes it would be hard for someone else to, if they're not quite sure if that did definitely solve it. Sometimes it can be more concrete, so it is possible for like moderators to be able to accept an answer, though it would be, I think, most important to try to get the users themselves to pick the answer which helped them the best. But yeah. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Question from Ken, because he's a very active
Yeah.
question asker. There's a lot of questions. So that concludes track 1 for the morning session. Lunch is now beginning, so I think it's just out the doors and to your left-hand side, just like yesterday. And thank you very much, Natalie, for showing us around the community, the FME user community.